Just trying, preparing to
Yeah.
live stream. Looks like working. Yes. Taking a little bit of time. Yes. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for joining our class. Today is the second class of Bhagavad Gita. Last week we did the introduction, and today we are going to work start on the chapter 1. Before that, we are going to ask questions for the previous chapter, previous class. And are you ready? So I've seen many kids already raised the hand for the first question, which I asked previously. What is the name of Bhagavad Gita is also called as? Okay. So there are so many hands raised. Let me ask first, Danush. Yes.
Gita Upanishad.
Haribol. Excellent. So the following question. Okay, you all lower the hand again because I should know the second question who were ready. Okay. Lower the hand. Second question is, Danush already answered Gita Upanishad. Can somebody say what is the meaning of Upanishad? Okay, there are a few raising hands. Now I'll going to ask Udita.
Mataji, Upanishad means sitting nearby.
Sitting nearby, and it actually represents what? Sitting near to, I mean, basically you're sitting closer to the spiritual master and humbly getting the knowledge from him, right? That's simple. So here also, a spiritual master is for Arjuna is Krishna, and he is sitting near close by and receiving the knowledge. Okay. The next question. Okay. Can somebody say why we have to read Bhagavad Gita as it is rather than other commentaries, which we have discussed in the class? Okay, there are a few people who raised the hands. Maybe Bhavya, I'll ask first.
Okay. Why we have to read Bhagavad Gita as it is? Because here the author, our dear Srila Prabhupada, has given the actual spirit of Bhagavad Gita, the way Lord Krishna spoke it, and without any contamination. The people who have other copies or the way other authors have written have contaminated it with their own material thoughts. So it may not be the correct spirit to read it. So.
Okay. And there are different interpretations, right?
Yes.
Different interpretation. They interpret Krishna differently also, but we know Krishna is the supreme personality
Supreme
of
Lord.
God, which he himself tells, and also many other acharyas, the great acharyas have actually confirmed that. So we have to read Bhagavad Gita as it is and from the Lord himself, whatever exactly he told, right?
And from the devotees of Lord and not from material people.
Okay. So there is another question. We are all part and parcel of the Lord, which we learned last week, that we are eternally with Lord Krishna before. And why we are here in this world? Why are we here? Okay. Samarth.
Mataji, because when we were in, like, everyone is coming from Golak only, the mistake we did is like we will see Krishna is like, he's enjoying so much, and then suppose Krishna is jumping very high. We also say we also want to jump high like that, like just example. So that means Krishna will say, if I send you to material world, you will be able to jump high. So he'll send you down to material world. And if you go back, Mataji, you won't come back because you won't repeat the mistake again.
Very nice. We wanted to enjoy this material world, and Krishna is okay. As a father is telling, okay, you wanted, you go and try and see, and there is a lot of misery, I'm telling you, but you wanted to enjoy. Actually, Krishna is the only supreme enjoyer. We are all enjoyed by him, but still we wanted to enjoy because of the quality that we have of enjoying quality, but we have also small independence given by the Lord. Okay, you go and enjoy. That's why we have come down to this material world. Very good, Summer. Let me ask next following question. In the material world, What are the 4 kinds of miseries that we have? Raise your hand. Let's wait for another couple more minutes. So I'll ask Shivansh. Yes.
The 4 miseries are karma, attachment,
Not quite right, Shivansh.
kala.
I think you are a little confused with the topics of Bhagavad Gita. That is 5 topics. We are not asking that. We are asking 4 kinds of miseries that we have in this material world. Okay. Avigyan is raising with 2 hands. I'm going to ask him.
Old age, old age, and disease,
Yes. 2 more.
death,
Yes. 1 more.
4 miseries.
I'm going to give chance to the last one to somebody else. Adrit,
Birth.
birth. So birth, death, old age, and disease are the 4 miseries. Birth looks happier when child is born, but really during the birth time, it's really painful for both mother and the child. It is painful, and death is definitely a painful. We all know how much sufferings we have, and old age, as and when we grow old, all our body parts will not be as good as when we are young. It's definitely will not be able to cooperate with the mind that young mind that we have. It will not cooperate, and definitely disease is also painful that we know. So all these are miseries in this world which we cannot avoid. Okay, very good, Adrit and Abhigyan. Okay, one more question. Can somebody say why Lord descends to the material world? We come because of our enjoy. We want to enjoy, and we coming here. Why Lord descends? I see Radhika and I see Shruta and Bhavya and Samad. Maybe I'll give chance later. You have already done. Chetana is there, and okay. So I'll give chance to Chetana this time.
Yes, Mataji.
Mhm.
So the Lord descends down to this material world for mainly 3 purposes. One is to annihilate the miscreants, one is to deliver the pious people, and the last one is to re-establish the principles of dharma.
Very good. And especially in this, very, very good. Especially in this time, Dwapara Yuga, why he descend? Any one reason can you give, Chetana?
Mataji, can you repeat the
This
question?
Dwapara Yuga, he descend has his, in his original form, right? Why he came in this Dwapara Yuga? He descend in many yugas and many different times, different forms. But in this, as Krishna, why he descend? I mean, all these reasons, whatever you said, reestablish the real purpose, dharma, because the dharma is really going down and all those things. Fine. One more reason, can you say?
Mataji,
One,
the verse is there for that 7.
that is that was the one Chetana covered actually in a general right. So basically, yes, everything is there. It's also devotees, right? As you one point you mentioned that too. Can you repeat that point?
Protect the devotees, right?
Who is that devotee here
Prahlad Maharaj like that and
in this Dwapara Yuga?
Dwapara.
Of course, Panch Pandavas and Arjuna is mainly right, close associate of Arjuna, suffering, and he wanted to also. This is one reason, right? So we
They
already asked the question. Okay, thank you so much. Then let me move on. We already asked the question last week about topics of Bhagavad Gita. One more time I'll ask. Please raise your hand. What are the topics of Bhagavad Gita? Let me see who else can raise hand. Okay, Ishan.
Mataji, the one which is divided into 3 sections.
5 topics of Bhagavad
Oh,
Gita.
5 topics. I don't remember.
Okay. Then I'll go to Jyotika.
Mataji, it's Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma.
Very good. Out of these 5 topics, which one is not eternal?
Karma, Mataji.
Yes. Why?
It's because we have both good and bad, and
Eternal means what?
it's like everlasting, or
Everlasting. And why karma is not everlasting?
because karma is not constant and it cannot stay the same at all times.
If
It
we have a
changes.
bad karma and we born in a very bad living entity, and then okay, but if we are having a good karma, we have a different, but it will not repeat the same. We will have a karma, but the karma can be nullified by doing the devotional service, and we ever can go to our father, eternal father Krishna, and not come back. So that there is a full stop for that. But rest of the other 4 topics what we talked about is all eternal. It will be repeating. It will be there always, right? Okay, good. And I think we are pretty much covered. Only one last question. Sorry. Please switch. Yes. Okay. Maybe one last question I will ask. Not 2 questions. In the Gita Mahatmya, we discussed about it. Okay. Gita Mahatmya is spoken by who and to who?
Mataji,
It is written Shivansh. Okay.
It's spoken by Lord Shiva, and it's Lord Shiva is telling to his wife,
Goddess
Lord
Parvati.
Parvati. Yes.
Right. And this was written by who? Gita
Uh,
Mahatmya?
Vyasa.
No. Shruta?
Adi Shankaracharya.
Very good. Okay. So in this Gita Mahatmya, the question is
Hare Krishna Mataji.
the Hare Krishna, the last verse talks about we only want one thing. What are the 4 1? There should be only one of this, one of that. So what are the 4 ones? Raise your
Mataji,
hand.
only
Wait,
be
raise your hand. Raise your hand. I don't want to answer. Okay, Priyangi. I'll give chance to Priyangi.
There's only one book, which is Bhagavad Gita.
Right.
Then one God, who is Krishna. Then one mantra, which is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Very good.
Then one service, that is service of Krishna.
Excellent. Absolutely very good. Very nice. I think I'll stop here because I can ask few more questions, but we need really more time for chapter 1 for you all to understand in a better way. Because last week we rushed for introduction, and because of the our children introduction, teachers introduction, really we want to spend more time. And at the end, we will have some time for you to ask question also. So we're going to start this session. And today, Nishita Mataji is going to take the chapter 1. Most likely, we'll try to share alternate chapters, but if that it depends on our availability also. So this week, Nishita Mataji is going to cover chapter 1. Next week, I'll be covering chapter 2. Okay, since we are going to cover chapter by chapter every week, right? We are having very limited time. So please pay attention. We are going to cover a lot of things in limited time. Pay attention. I'm very happy to see all your responses. Beautifully, you have answered correctly. And this is how we have to study. So learn and then understand, and then we will progress further. Before handing it over to Nishita Mataji, let me introduce Prachikta, who is a new student. Last week, she didn't join after the class, and she's a friend of Chetana. She has joined our class, signed up for our class, and I'll ask her to introduce herself. Prashikta, please introduce yourself.
Yes,
Your
Mataji.
yes to every one of us.
I'm Prachikta and I'm from Bhubaneswar and currently I'm studying in class 11th.
Very good, Hari Bol. And you got to know about this class from Chetna. right?
Yes,
And
Mataji.
are you interested to learn more on Bhagavad Gita?
Yes.
Very
Actually,
good.
Chetna used to say about this, and I was interested.
Very good. Nice to know. Welcome to our class, and rest of the students, since we already had the introduction, you will get to know when we are moving to the every class, right? Everybody else. So all are very, very enthusiastic kids. I'm really expecting you also to fully attend the class. Make use of it. Try to attend the class regularly. And if and only if there is a very difficult situation where you cannot attend, you can skip. Otherwise, try wherever you go. You can connect from the phone, right? It's just online class. You don't have to be physically there. Okay. Thank you. Welcome again, Prachikta. And
Thank you,
handing over to
Mataji.
Nishita Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Over to you.
Welcome, Prajakta, and very good job, Chetna. Very nice. See, this is how we can help each other as well. Right? This is the supreme science that we are learning. And as Prabhupada says in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, all the knowledge and all the scriptures of the world is in Bhagavad Gita. Right? So this is the supreme most knowledge. So Chetna, you've done such a nice service to Prajakta by telling her about this, right? So it's very, very nice. Very good. And I know the last question Mataji asked was who remembers the last verse of Gita Mahatma. And I'm so happy to see so many of you remember the meaning. Has anyone memorized that verse? Does anyone remember the verse? Shivansh, you memorized the verse?
Yes, Mataji.
Very
Very
nice. Can
nice.
you recite it for us?
Yes, Mataji. Yum 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 vapi smaran bhavam daya jante kalevaram tam tam ivaiti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavita.
Very good, Shivansh. What you just recited is a very important verse from the Bhagavad Gita, but it's chapter 8, verse 6. Right?
This was
Very
the
nice.
homework I gave to children, right? I just
Hmm.
told that yesterday. Please memorize this. So I think
Very good.
he understood.
Okay, but I want to hear the last verse of Gita Mahatmya. So I think Priyangi said the meaning, right? The one book, one Lord, one. Balram, have you learned the verse?
Mataji.
Wonderful. Can you recite it for us?
एकम शास्त्र देवकी पुत्र गेत एको देव देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्य नामानि यानि कर्मापि एकम तस्य देवस्य सेव.
Beautiful. Hari Bol. Very, very, very good job. And the reason I asked you if anyone has memorized it is because this verse is the sum and substance of everything that our life should be. That's how important this verse is. Okay? Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Bhagavad Gita. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. You just need one Lord, and that is Supreme Lord Krishna. Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani. You just need one mantra. And what is that mantra? His name. You don't need any other mantra. There are so many mantras and chants in this world. You don't need any of them. You just need one mantra. And that is what? Krishna's name. Right? That's why our entire movement revolves around chanting Krishna's name. And fourth, karmapya ekam tasya devasya seva. That there's exactly one service, just one job you have to do. And that is devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. So this verse is the sum and substance of bhakti. It's if we just apply this verse in our life, we are done with everything. Okay, that's how important this verse is. Very nice. I'm so happy Mataji covered this verse last week. Okay, and on that note, we are on to our first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. How many of you are excited?
Me.
Nice. Okay. All right. So I'm so happy that a lot of you have your cameras on as well. This makes the class more interesting. Okay. So let me start sharing my screen. All right. So I want to start with revising the classroom etiquette, which Mataji covered last week. Obviously, we want all of you to attend the classes regularly, right? Because we want all of you to understand the flow of Gita chapter by chapter. Be as attentive as you can in the class. Sometimes if we use English words that you cannot follow, or if you are speaking too fast, or if you don't understand the point, feel free to be like, Mataji, can you help me understand this? Because other students might also have the same question. So please do that. Cameras on all the time, because I want to see if I see someone's face confused, I know I can explain that better. If I see someone's not following something, I can do a better job. Okay, so please cameras on all the time. And yes, please make notes. I'm so happy to know so many of you remember so many things we covered last week. And there's so much to cover. Imagine, so as Prabhupada says, right, all the knowledge in the world is in these 700 verses, in this 18 chapters. So in the next 3 months, you're going to be covering all the knowledge in the world. So how are we going to fit it in our little brain? Only if we make notes, right? Make notes and revise. So make sure you all make notes. Okay? Very good. All right. Chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. Usually, I know I ask a lot of questions when I'm doing classes, but I'm worried that if I ask questions, we are not going to finish it. So I'm going to go through it sequentially, but then I have some questions for you towards the end. Okay? But at any point, if you don't follow something, you just ask me. All right. So, okay, let me fix this will go like this. Okay, perfect. Yes. So, okay. So, with Prabhupada's mercy, with the mercy of all the devotees, today we are starting going through the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? So, we are going to finally hear the conversations between Dhritarashtra, Sanjay, Krishna, Arjun, which are all the characters Mataji introduced last week. The first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is setting up the scene. So remember Mataji mentioned how the Bhagavad Gita conversation is happening in the Mahabharata, which is this huge war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, right? So now everyone's on the battlefield already. So the first chapter is setting up the scene and setting up the stage for Krishna to give the knowledge to Arjuna. Okay? So the first chapter, it is called Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. So the Mahabharata war happened in Kurukshetra. And one side is the Pandavas army, the other side is the Kauravas army. And this chapter is called Observing the Armies on this Battlefield. In Hindi, it is also called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishad means lamentation or to be very, very sad. So at a high level, in the first chapter, what happens is that there are these two armies on the battlefield. And see, all of these are related, right? The Pandavas and the Kauravas are cousins. They're all family members. So imagine your entire family was to be on the battlefield and half of your family members on one side and the other family, half of the family members on the other side, and there was a huge war. That would be so upsetting, right? Because nothing good can come out of it. Imagine they are at war, nothing good can come out of it. So Arjuna is very upset at the end of this chapter. So he's very, very sad. He's lamenting as to why do I have to fight? And that's why this chapter is also called the Lamentation Yoga. So it's a good question you can ask him, Mataji, then why is it yoga? If it is lamentation, he's so sad, why is it yoga? Because of that sadness, that lamentation, he's setting up the stage for Krishna to give him the spiritual knowledge. Yoga is anything that connects us back to the Supreme Lord, right? So because of that knowledge of self-realization, he's able to connect back to Krishna, to the Supreme Lord, able to identify his original position, who he is. That's why this is called Lamentation Yoga, or Yoga of Lamentation, Arjuna's lamentation, okay? So I've tried to add images as well to the slide so you can all remember. With pictures, you can remember this for longer. Okay, so who can tell me who are the two characters on the left-hand side? Mataji introduced them last time. Yeah, just shout out the answer. It's okay.
Mataji, Sanjay and
Sanjay and Vishita.
Good. Yeah, Sanjay and Dhritarashtra. Who are the two characters on the right-hand side? Someone who's already answered cannot answer, by the way. Okay, you only get one chance to shout out. Who's
Krishna
on the right
and Arjuna.
Krishna and Arjuna. Very good. Yes.
Krishna and
Okay.
Arjuna.
So does anyone know how many verses there are in the first chapter?
Mataji, can I say?
You already answered once.
Mataji,
Okay.
can I say?
700.
Mataji, 47.
Actually, there's 46 verses. So close enough. Close enough. Very good, Ishan. There's 46 verses. So what we're going to do is so if I were to be like, understand every single verse, it'll be difficult for you, right? So we're going to break down those verses into sections. So it'll be easier for you to follow the themes of what happens when. Okay? So here's the breakdown that we are going to go through. Can everyone read this properly? Everyone can read this? Perfect. Okay. So at a high level, there's two major sections in this chapter. There's two major things that are happening in this chapter. In the first section is the introduction. So this is when you learn about Dhritarashtra, Sanjay, Krishna, Arjun, the warriors on either side of the war. Okay, and then the second part is the Arjuna's lamentation part that we were just talking about, right? So Arjuna is looking at his relatives and being like, oh no. If I were to put you and be like, okay, now you have to go at war with all of your family members, you'll be like, no, right? So Arjuna has a similar temperament. So the first portion is setting the scene, introduction, and the second portion is Arjuna is finding reasons that he doesn't want to fight. All right, so that is the section, the order in which we are going to go. All right, the first section, the introduction, which is the first 27 verses of this chapter. So the first section, you can divide that into 3 parts. There's first part, as you see the slide, the first part is there's a preparation for war. The second part is there's a lot of signs that indicate that actually at the end of this war, the Pandavas are going to be victorious. And then the third part is the interaction between Arjuna and Krishna that shows how Bhakta Vatsala Krishna is. Does anyone know what Bhakta Vatsala mean?
Mataji, merciful to the devotees.
Okay, I already said someone who's answered once cannot answer twice, right? But yes, good answer. That is the right answer. I want other people to also answer, okay? But yes, Bhakt Vatsala means someone who's very merciful, someone who loves his devotees a lot, someone who's very dear, for whom his devotees are very, very dear. So Vatsal or Vatsala is usually the love that a mother has for her child, right? So it's like the purest, such a strong love. So that is the kind of love that Krishna has for his devotees. All right, so let's go through the first section, which is the preparation for war. All right. Can someone read this? Raise your hand if you want to read this. The slide. And I'll explain it as we go. Yes, Bhavya.
Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
Yes. So what is happening? Dhritarashtra is the king. Remember Mataji mentioned he's the blind king and he's the father of the Kauravas. So he's sitting in his palace and he's talking to his secretary Sanjaya and saying, Sanjaya, what's happening at the battlefield? So a fair question for us to ask when they are sitting in the palace and the war is happening in Kurukshetra. So how come, and this is 5,000 years ago, so how come he's asking Sanjaya what's happening at the... Okay, I see a lot of raised hands from Avigna and Avigyan. Yes.
Mataji,
Yeah.
I think that Krishna had given a power to Sanjaya so that he can see the Kurukshetra war while he's sitting in the palace to narrate it to Dhritarashtra.
Yes, very good. Very, very good. So Sanjay, just like TV, we can sit at home right now. When the Rath Yatra happens in Puri, sometimes we're sitting in Singapore, right? But we can see the entire Rath Yatra on YouTube, remember, right? Because that's how satellite works, that's how TV works. So this is not a new creation. This is how back in the day, now that people call scientific creation, back in the day, you could do all of that by yogic power or special powers. So Sanjay was actually a disciple of Vyasadeva. So this was a special power that he'd received from his spiritual master, who was Vyasadeva, to be able to see things from afar. Right? Similar to how the internet works. So right now I'm sitting in Singapore, some of you are sitting in India, but we can see each other. I can see what's happening in Jyotika's room, for instance, right? Because of this power. So this is not a new power. Previously, the yogis could get this power. Sanjay has this power to see what's happening in a faraway place. Okay? So that's why Dhritarashtra is asking, okay, Sanjay, what's happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? And why is Dhritarashtra asking this? Basically, the battlefield of Kurukshetra is a very, very holy place. So Kurukshetra, even if you study Krishna's pastimes, right, there's a bit around how the gopis and Krishna, they all go to Kurukshetra. So Kurukshetra has always been a very holy place. So Dhritarashtra also knows that I know my sons are wrong. I know the Pandavas are the righteous ones. So he's getting very worried. So he's sitting in his palace and he's getting very worried, very anxious as to what's happening at the battlefield. Obviously, because he's attached to his sons and he's worried about them. Right? So he's asking his secretary Sanjay what's happening at the battlefield. When they all met at this place of pilgrimage, the Dharma Kshetra, what did they do? So that's when Sanjay is saying, and Sanjay, he knows what the king is feeling. So to pacify him, Sanjay is saying, oh, don't worry. Duryodhan was very brave. And here's what Duryodhan did as soon as he saw the armies. Where am I? Okay. Yes. Can someone read this? Priyangi. Yes, Priyangi, read this.
O my teacher, before the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by our intelligent disciple, the son of Drapada, Here in this army are many heroic women equals in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhana, Virata and Drupada. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chetikana, Kasiraja, Purujit, Kuntibhojishta, and Saitya. There are mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Ustamaujo, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters.
Yes, very good, Priyanki. So what's happening in this scene? So in this scene, as soon as they are on the battlefield, right, Duryodhan goes to Dronacharya. Dronacharya is who? Dronacharya is two things. One, he's Kaurava's commander-in-chief, right? So he's the one who's arranged all the armies for the Kauravas. And second, he's also the teacher for all the Pandavas and the Kauravas, right? So the reason Arjuna is such a good bowman is because he's learned it from Dronacharya, right? So Dronacharya is the teacher for both Kauravas and Pandavas. But he's fighting on whose side? The Kauravas side, right? He's there standing on Duryodhan's side of the army. So in this case, as soon as Duryodhan sees the armies, he goes to Dronacharya. And okay, in your life, if you have a, if you and your friend you're fighting with someone and you want to, provoke your friend, what will you see? You'll say, see how she's doing this. See, he's so strong. See, you will try to highlight the strength in the person that you're fighting, right? To provoke people on your side, so they fight even harder. So that's what Duryodhan is saying. He's going to Dronacharya and saying, see how strong they are. They've got such strong fighters, so as to provoke Dronacharya. The other important thing here is who does anyone know who the commander in chief for the Pandavas is?
Mataji,
Commander in chief, for Kauravas is Dronacharya. Commander in chief for the Pandavas is
Mataji, Avigyan wants to say.
yes,
I
Avigyan.
think it's Rishta Ketu or something.
Drishta is right. The second part is
Dyumna.
Drishtadyumna.
Drishtadyumna. Yes, very good. And whose son is Drishtadyumna?
Drupad's.
Very good. King Drupad. King Drupad is Draupadi's father, right?
Yes, Mataji.
So Dronacharya and King Drupad had a fight. Okay, they had a very bad fight. And then Drupad was like, now I want to, and Dronacharya is very, very strong, right? Very, very, very great warrior. So now Drupad was like, I want to, he does a lot of prayers and austerity to say, I want to have a son who can kill Dronacharya. So that's when Drishtadyumna is born. And see, Dronacharya is such a great Brahman, where he knows that Drishtadyumna is born and he's appeared to kill him. But still, Dronacharya gives him all the training so he can become a very good warrior. See, that is the nature of the Brahman, right? So he did not shy away from his duty or did not shy away from what was right in the fear of, oh, this tomorrow, this Drishtadyumna can kill me. So, no, I'm not going to teach him. No. Imagine Drishtadyumna, who is the Pandavas commander in chief, is a disciple of Dronacharya, who's the Kauravas commander in chief. Okay, I want you all to know this because it's very significant. If you look at the first line, right, Duryodhan is very cunning, he's very sharp. So Duryodhan is going to Dronacharya and saying, see what a good job your disciple has done there. See, so, right, it has to provoke him. What a mistake you did by teaching that guy who's going to kill you and going to kill all of us at the same time because of your mistake. So he's provoking Dronacharya. That's what he's doing in this scene. All
Mataji,
right.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
Mataji, here it is saying that Duryodhana, right? He went to Dronacharya and he told that the Pandavas are strong. So Mataji, how is it like helping the Kauravas? Because if he's telling that the Pandavas are strong, then Dronacharya will go to them, right? But then how will
Yeah.
Dronacharya stay on their team? That's my
Yeah.
question.
So that's a very good question, Samad. Think of it this way. I don't know what analogy to use. So if you and Avigyan have a fight, right? And Manas and you are on one side, then you're going to go to Manas and be like, see how strong Avigyan is, see? And then Manas will be like, no, I'm stronger than Avigyan. Right? That's how you'll provoke Manas. So that's what happens when you have a fight, then if you Avigyan wants to say something, is it?
In India, Most of the time it happens in the past. If I'm not sure if nowadays happening, most of the parents will say, see how that child is studying so well, and you have to do like that, something like that. They always compare, right?
To provoke the ego so that the child's
Yes.
ego gets hurt and they work hard.
Yeah, they
Yes.
work even harder, exactly. So that's what's happening here. So that's why, see, he's very cunning. He's not saying, no, 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 we have to kill him. He's saying, see how strong they are. So Dronacharya can be like, how come? No, I'm stronger. I'm going to finish them all together. Does that answer your question, Samit?
Yes, Mataji.
Good. All right, who wants to read this?
Mataji, me.
Okay, Sandy.
But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Asthavama, Vikarna, and the sons of Somadatta, called Brushavas, who all are always victorious in the battle. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives and for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by Grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of Pandavas, rightfully protected by Bhishma, is limited. All of you must now give full support to the Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of the entrance of the phalanx of the army.
Very good, Sanvi. Very nice. So see now what he's doing. Now see he's now doing the opposite thing. So what Samat was asking, right? Ki if he says the other party is very strong, then Dronacharya will become disappointed. So see now he's doing the opposite thing. So to Mataji's example, right? It's like saying, see how well that boy is studying. And when the person's like, no, how come no, I can do it? Then you're like, yeah. See how well that boy is studying, but we are no less. We are going to do even better. We are going to, beat them fully in the exams. So that's what he's doing. First, he's saying, see how strong they are, and then he's saying, wait, we are no less. Look at all of these warriors who are willing to, die because of me. And this my sake bit is very important because see, this shows you that everything about this, everything, the reason they were fighting, and everything about this battle for Dronacharya was about his senses. So he's not saying these people are willing to die or willing to lay their lives for the right reasons or for the Lord's sake or for religion. He's saying they can all kill themselves for me. So everything was about Dronacharya, and that is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee, right? A non-devotee is always focused on how is it my senses can be satisfied. Whereas Arjun never says that all of these warriors can kill themselves for my sake. No, he says they can kill themselves because Krishna is on our side, right? They can kill themselves for righteousness, for religion. So that's the more now what he's saying. He's saying, oh, it's don't worry, but we've got even stronger warriors because we've got Grandfather Bhishma on our side. So all of you have to support Grandfather Bhishma so we can kill the Pandavas. Anyone has a question, or are you all raising your hands to read?
Mataji,
Yes.
what is the meaning of phalanx?
Oh, phalanx is an arrangement in the army. So it's a little unit. So when you arrange, suppose you're going on war with someone, you wouldn't be like all the soldiers stand wherever you want to stand. No, you have specific areas. Like some of my soldiers are going to stand here. Some of my soldiers are going to protect this part. Just like even when they play games, football, cricket, right? They'll be like, oh, this player is going to stand here. This player is going to stand here. So that specific arrangement, that specific unit of the army. Okay. Thank you for asking. All right.
Mataji,
Yes.
Can I read the next one?
One second. I think
There's
Sanvi
a
has a question.
line Vikarna and the sons of Soma.
Sorry, Sanvi, I can't understand. What did you say?
Tanvi, can you repeat? Your voice is breaking.
Oh, I think she disconnected. Okay. So this is the first subsection, right? What was the first subsection of the? Any questions? People have questions that they don't want to read. If you have questions,
Mataji,
just go on, unmute, and
I have
ask.
one
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Okay, so just now you said people are fighting for my sake. So this is said by whom? Like
This is
who said
Duryodhan.
this?
This is Duryodhan. Right? So what has
Okay.
happened so far? Dhritarashtra was asking Sanjay what's happening at the battlefield, and Sanjay is like, oh, your son, Duryodhan, by looking at the armies, he just went to his teacher Dronacharya. So this is what Duryodhan is saying to Dronacharya.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Got it. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So this was the first section. Remember, what was the first section? The preparation for war. Now is the second section, which is the signs of Pandava's victory. All right, Avigna, can you read the next slide?
Okay, Mataji. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. After that, the conch shells,
Bugles.
bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was
Tumultuous.
tumultuous.
Hmm.
On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells.
Yes, very nice, Avigna. So, on Manas, do you have a question? Okay, very nice. So, Bhishma at that point blew his conch shell. So, this is very important. Okay, what are the 4 things in Vishnu's hands?
Mataji,
Okay, Samarth, no, cannot. I said 3 times already. If you answered, cannot jump and have to give other students a chance also.
Mataji, can I answer?
Yes, Adirit.
Conch shell.
And what other 3? 3 things also.
Sudarshan Chakra.
Chakra,
Lotus.
lotus. You got it. Mace. Right? So Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Alright, 4 things. Right? So Shankh, which is conch shell, is a sign of Vishnu, right? So the fact, and see, Bhishma Pitama, he's the grandfather of both Kauravas and Pandavas. He knows that at the end of the day, the Pandavas are going to win. And he's also one of the great devotees of the Lord. He's a Mahajan himself. So he knows obviously the Pandavas are going to win. Obviously, because Krishna is with him, they're only going to win. Right? So he blows his conch shell. And conch shell is a sign of Vishnu. So this is actually a sign that at the end, Pandavas are going to come victorious. And even Bhishma Pitama knows that. Okay? So he sounds his conch shell, and then all of these instruments. So usually the way they would declare war back in the day, or the way they would start this war, is by with all of these instruments making a loud noise, and that's when you know the war was starting. Right? So that happens, and as soon as this happens, who blows their conch shells? Lord Krishna and Arjuna. And a very important thing here is that see, in Prabhupada in his translation writes, they sounded their transcendental conch shells. But Bhishma conch shells or the Kauravas conch shells are not called transcendental conch shells. Why is that? What is this transcendental conch shell? No shouting answers for someone who has already answered. I could see from this that someone was going to shout. Someone who has not answered. Anyone who has not answered? Manas. Why is this a transcendental conch shell? Manas, can you hear me? You're on mute. Manas. Why is this a transcendental conch shell? What is transcendental? Transcendental is spiritual, right? Beyond this material world. Everything to do with Krishna is transcendental. Lord Krishna's conch shell.
Transcendental.
Yes,
Lord
Krishna
Krishna's
himself
conch shell will be transcendental.
Exactly, very good, Manas. And Arjuna's conch shell is also transcendental. Why? Because he's a pure devotee of the Lord. Right? So that's why their conch shells are called transcendental conch shells. Right? To show that Krishna is by their side. Or it's Krishna's conch shell himself. Alright?
Mataji,
Yes.
if he is heard by the
Sanvi, 1 second. Sanvi, can you go on mute? Thank you.
what was the word for the before one?
Sanvi, can you mute, please? Yes. Yes, Abhigna?
Mataji, what was the verse for the before one?
Which one?
The one before this one. Yes, this one.
The one which?
This one. Oh, Mama, we can't.
The transcendental conch shell, is it?
No, like which verse are we currently doing now?
Okay, so we are going from verses. We're going from verses 12 to 20.
Okay.
Okay?
Mataji.
All right. Okay, can someone read this for me? Yes, Manas.
Mataji.
Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Paundra. King Yudhishthir, son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadev blew the Sughosha and Manipushpaka. That great archer of King Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki,
Satyaki, yes.
Drupada, the sons of Draupadi and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells.
Yes, very nice, Manas. Thank you. Right, so these are all the Pandavas who are now blowing their conch shells one after the other. This is actually very important because I want all of us to learn these names of the conch shells. Okay, so Lord Krishna's conch shell is Panchajanya. Arjuna's conch shell is Devadatta. Bhim's is Poundra. Yudhishthir Maharaj's is Ananta Vijaya, and Nakul's is Sughosha, and Sahadeva is Mani Pushpaka. Okay, and then it's enlisting who are all the other warriors on the Pandava side. We have Shikhandi. Who is Shikhandi? Shikhandi.
He's the enemy of Bhishma Dev, and he was also in his previous birth. He was Amba.
Very good, very good, Shivansh. Very good. Drishtadyumna, we already talked about him, right? Son of Drupad. Oh wow, Vishruth Sriram is also here. Belated Happy Krishna Conscious birthday, Vishruth.
Mataji.
So we already talked about Drishtadyumna. We also have Virat. Who's Virat?
Virat is some.
Okay, Shivansh has already answered once. 1 second, Shivansh. Anyone else who can answer who's Virat? Who's King Virat? Okay, Shivansh.
He's like you can say that his daughter is married with Arjuna's son.
Yes, very good. So this is where Arjun served as the teacher. All right, and then we have Satyaki. Satyaki is actually Krishna's charioteer. And we have Drupada, and we have Draupadi's sons, and we have Maityam son of Subhadra, who is Abhimanyu. Right?
Mataji,
Yes.
Satyaki is Krishna's charioteer. But I thought Daruka was Krishna's charioteer.
Daruka?
Yeah.
Vishnupriya Mataji, do you know about this? I thought Satyaki was Krishna's charioteer. Okay,
I
we'll
also
try.
heard Daruka. Let's confirm that.
Okay, we will confirm that later.
I
I'll make a
heard
note.
Satyaki too, though.
Satyaki, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll come to it later. Maybe both of them are charioteers of Krishna. Satyaki is also a great warrior, by the way. So we'll come to it later. Samarth, you remember, okay? We'll try to clarify this later. I think maybe they both are charioteers. All right, so I want you all to remember this, okay? So I'm already telling you one question I'm going to ask you next week, and which is this. Okay, so and I also want you to be able to say these properly. Panchajanya, Devadatta, Ananta Vijaya, Poundra, Sughosha, and Mani Pushpaka. Okay? So you can be like, Mataji, why are you making us learn these names of conch shells? Everything to do with Krishna is transcendental. Right? So even these names, learning these names itself is transcendental. All right.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Sanvi, yes?
Sorry Mataji, my iPad didn't have any chats. The chats went away.
No worry, that's okay. Don't worry. As long as you can still hear.
And the meaning which you are going to say, I couldn't hear that. Could you please say it?
Could I please say what?
Mataji,
Yes, Vishru?
Krishna is a charioteer, right?
Yes. So how come he has a charioteer? That is your question, right? Is that your question, Vishru? That's a very good question. So in this case, right now on the battlefield, he's not Krishna's charioteer. In general, he's Krishna's charioteer. Krishna is not always Arjuna's charioteer, right? He's only on the battlefield of Krishna. He's Partha's Arthi.
Remember, Krishna was the king, right, of Dwaraka. He has his own army and
Yes.
own chariot, Narayani Sena, and there he has a charioteer. But in this battle, Kurukshetra, he is a charioteer for Arjuna.
Mataji,
All right. Yes, Anvi.
the meaning, I was just saying that the meaning which you were saying in one previous slide, I wanted to know that again.
Which one?
In the previous slide, I don't know, it was like,
This one. Can you see the slide, Sanvi?
no, one more. It was with not this one.
Oh, Sanvi, I'll share the slides later on, so you can see it then. Okay. Okay. All right. Next one. Who wants to read this?
Mataji, can I, Mataji?
Yes, Samarth. Read this. Samarth.
The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot wearing a flag marked with Hanuman, took his bow up and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking over the sons of Dhritarashtra, drawn in military array, Arjuna spoke to Krishna these words.
Yes. So this is the end of the second section. What was the second section from verses 12 to 20? The signs of victory of the Pandavas. So everything that has happened in the last 9 verses is showing that actually at the end, the Pandavas are going to come out victorious. So what have we done so far? We talked about Dhritarashtra and Sanjay talking. Sanjay telling him that as soon as Duryodhan saw the armies, he went to Dronacharya and he tried to instigate Dronacharya, right? So there was a setting of the war, the preparation for the war. Then we learned about all of the conch shell blowing, all the instruments beating loudly, showing that actually the Pandavas were going to come victorious. Right? So now, after all of this, after everyone's blown their conch shell, that's when Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot with the flag marked with Hanuman. Okay, this is important. The flag is marked with Hanuman. He took his bow and he's prepared to shoot. And that's when he sees the sons of Dhritarashtra, the Kauravas, and he says the following words to Krishna. So this is the second portion, the signs of victory. So let's do a revision. What are the signs of victory? Who can tell me? What are the signs of victory we've seen so far? What are the signs that are telling you that actually the Pandavas are going to win?
Mataji, can I?
Start saying. What are some of those things? One word.
Because Krishna is at Pandava's side and
Yes.
the
One.
consuls
The transcendental conch shells. Yes. Priyangi.
Bhishma blew his conch shell loudly, which meant that the Pandu is gonna win. That Pandavas are
Yeah.
gonna
So
win.
the conch shell, the auspicious sound of the conch shell itself means that the Pandavas are going to win. Very good. What else?
Mataji, can I say?
Yes.
Mataji, wherever Krishna is there, Lakshmi is there. Wherever Lakshmi is there, Hanuman. Wherever Krishna is there, Krishna is Rama, so Hanuman will be there. And wherever Krishna is there, Lakshmi, she is fortune. So wherever Hanuman is there, victory is there, and Lakshmi is there, fortune is there.
Very good. Very, very nicely answered, Samarth. And I can tell that you've actually been reading the Bhagavad Gita because this is how Prabhupada explains in the purport of the verse also. So very nicely explained. So what are the reasons we've covered so far? Krishna himself is present when the Pandavas, the transcendental conch shells, the fact that Krishna is present, so Lakshmi has to be present, right? So so goddess of fortune is present there. And then there's Hanuman also present because Hanuman is on Arjuna's flag, right? So we've covered 4 reasons already. What else?
Mataji, can I say?
Yes, Nanda.
Agnidev giving the chariot to Arjuna.
Very good. Yes. What is the specialty with this chariot, Nanda? Nanda.
Hey, one second, Mataji. I'm doing Sankirtan. Okay.
Okay,
So,
okay. No, I know Nanda's doing book distribution today. That's fine. Very good answer. Yes. The specialty with this chariot is it can conquer all directions. Okay, so very auspicious. Yes, the fact that Agni is given the chariot, so 5 already. What else? One very important thing we talked about in the beginning. I'll give
Mataji,
you a yes, Chetna.
Mataji, the fact that this war is happening in Kurukshetra, it is
Haribol,
the
yes. Very good answer. Yes. That I was looking for that. Yeah, the fact that this war is happening in Kurukshetra, right? Which is a place of religious rituals. So how can the Pandavas not win if it is happening in Kurukshetra? That's why in the first verse, when Dhritarashtra asks Sanjay, what does he say? Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra. Right? In the first verse itself, we know that actually the Pandavas are going to win. Okay, so I made a slide so you can all quickly revise these important signs of victory. This is very important. Krishna's personal presence. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, always present by Krishna's side. The fact that this is a Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. The fact that there's Hanuman on Arjuna's flag. The transcendental conch shells, which are themselves are a sign of Vishnu. Agnidev's chariot, which can concur in all directions. And one more thing, see, in the previous verse, what did we hear? The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra, which means that as soon as they heard these sounds, they themselves knew that they were going to lose, which is a sign, right, that obviously even they know that the Pandavas are going to win. All right, so this is important. This covers the second portion of the
Mataji,
chapter. Yes, Shruta?
I remember from the book in the purport that I can't clearly remember, but I remember that Prabhupada had explained that when the conch shells were blown and it shattered the hearts, it even shattered their power, and that's why the Pandavas were going to win. So the blowing of the conch shells actually even destroyed their power.
Yes, very good.
I have a
Good.
small question, Mataji.
Yes,
In the
Samrit.
beginning of the verses, right? Dhritarashtra, he was Mataji, he was doubtful because Mataji, is Dhritarashtra, was he uh, doubtful because of the influence of the, of the place, Kurukshetra? Was he doubtful because of that?
Dhritarashtra?
Yeah, because he
Yes.
was. So he was doubtful because because Kurukshetra is a place, it's like a dam. So that means the Kauravas will get some virtue. Is he thinking like that, Mataji?
Yes. So actually, there's two reasons why Dhritarashtra is very nervous in the beginning and in the first verse. Because he knows it's a religious place, right? So he's worried about two things. He's worried that one, it's possible that because it's a religious place, maybe my sons will get influenced and they would not want to fight and they would want to compromise with the Pandavas. That's the one reason. The second reason, he's like, even if they fight, the chances of them winning are very low because it's a religious place. So yes, Samath, you're right. Those are both of those are reasons that, as Prabhupada tells us, as to why Dhritarashtra is nervous and the significance of Kurukshetra.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, should we move to the also? Samath, you were right. Daruka is the charioteer. As Mataji told us, Satyaki is the commander in chief of the Yadu dynasty.
Mataji, I was thinking because Kritavarma also was given as when Krishna gave the Narayani Sena, he gave Kritavarma too because he used to give you the commander in chief.
Hmm. Okay, thank you for highlighting that, Samit. Very nice. So it's so nice, see, that you can all point. If we make mistakes, as teachers are nice that you can all point and be like, Mataji, are we sure about this? So we also learn this way. So thank you for that. Okay, so the next section is a very important one, and this is Krishna as Bhakta Vatsala. So we've covered two sections so far, right? Verse 1st to 11th was the preparation for war. Verses 12 to 20 is the signs of Pandava's victory. Now, verses 21 to 27 is Krishna as Bhakta Vatsala. And Bhakta Vatsala is what? As we discussed, someone who's very merciful to his devotees, someone who loves his devotees a lot. Okay, so this is verses 21 to 27. Who wants to read this?
Mataji,
Yes, Ishan.
Arjuna said, "O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra." Sanjaya said, "O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here.
Very good. Thank you, Ishan. So this is interesting, right? So Lord Krishna is Arjuna's charioteer, and Arjuna is saying, "Ki, oh, infallible one." Infallible one means what?
Mataji, Achyuta.
Achyuta.
Person who
Yes,
can't
but what does it mean?
person who can't be defeated.
Mataji,
The one who does
Yes.
not fall.
he won't
Yes.
his position.
Yeah. So someone who cannot do anything wrong, and someone who's like, as you all said, someone who cannot be defeated, someone who cannot. Okay.
Makes
So
no
one of you is
mistake.
messaging me. Sorry, Mataji, please go ahead.
Makes no mistake.
Make no mistake. Exactly. Makes no mistake. Okay. I know some of you are messaging me to be like, Mataji, can you go back to this slide or that slide? I will share these slides afterwards. So even if you have not made notes, it's okay. I'll share these slides with you afterwards. So you'll have all of them. So you don't have to copy the slides. Okay. Don't worry. I'll share all of them today itself. So don't worry about that. I'm trying to make if we are saying something in the class that's not in the slides, you want to make notes for that. Okay? If it's something in the slides, don't worry. You can always copy the slides later. Yeah, so infallible means someone who's like has the supreme most position, right? Cannot make mistake, cannot be defeated. So someone who has that position, will you give them orders? Will you say, oh, you supreme lord, can you do this for me? No, right? You don't go to the principal in the school. You be like, oh, principal, can you open the door for me? Cannot, right? Because their position is so high. So how come Arjuna is saying, say here, oh, infallible one, please draw my chariot here. Right, but see, that is why this is important, and that is why that is the beauty of Krishna's relationship. Where Krishna is Bhakti Vatsala, where is okay, someone is saying, Mataji, can you record the class and share it? So this class is being live streamed. So this is being recorded and it will be shared later. So you'll have access to all of this later also. Don't worry. Pay attention to what we're doing right now. Okay, that's most important. Perfect. Thank you. All right. What was I saying? Yeah, so this is the beauty of the relation Krishna has with his devotees. Where Krishna, he loves his devotees so much that he takes so much pleasure out of doing something for his devotees. And that's why in this there's obviously a lot of beautiful verses in the Bhagavatam which exemplify that. But in this verse, that's why in this, in this chapter, Krishna is referred to as Partha Sarthi. Partha is who Arjun, right? So Krishna gets a lot of pleasure when he's called not by his names like Rishikesh and Govinda, but when he's called in relation to his names with his devotees. So he takes a lot more pleasure when he's called Parthasarthi or Yashoda Nandan or Devaki Nanda or Nandanandan, right? Because that exemplifies, that helps him, that reminds him of his devotees, and nothing gives him more pleasure than being associated with or being close to his devotees, his pure devotees. Right? So this is a very important section because it's showing you how the Supreme Lord, and see, Krishna wanted to kill Kauravas, he could have killed them like this. Right? He does not want to, he doesn't need to have this war, he doesn't need to do all of this. The reason he's done all of this is so we can get this knowledge. That is the only reason. Right? So this is exemplifying the relation between Krishna and his devotees, where even his devotees can order him to be like, Krishna, please draw my chariot. And he'll happily do that. One more important thing. In the spiritual world, you know how in this world I've also mentioned this in the Madhav class before. In this world, there's a competition to become a master. I want to become more senior. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to Lord. In the spiritual world, there's also a competition. But the competition is to become a servant. So Krishna is always looking to serve his devotees. His devotees are always looking to serve him. So this is a transcendental competition where they're all looking to serve each other more and more. So this is beautiful because at one point he's saying infallible one, and then he's also giving him the order to be like, please draw my chariot. All right, so he's saying, so Arjuna here is saying, ki, oh Krishna, please can you draw my chariot because I want to see who all are even here, who all do I have to fight. So he's standing here with his bow. So he's already drawn his bow and he's saying, oh, let me at least see who all are the people here who want to fight with me. Because see, Arjun never wanted to do the war, right? Even Mataji told us last week as to how even Krishna went and he tried to see if they could reach a compromise without having to do the war. But Duryodhan was bent upon doing the war. So Arjun is saying, well, now I have to do it. Can I at least see who are all of my relatives and family members and friends that I have to fight here? Okay, next slide. Can someone read this?
Mataji, can I read?
Yes, Avigna.
That Arjuna could see within the midst of armies of both parties, his father's grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
Yes.
This is 1.212.
This is 1.21 to 1.26. This is the 26th verse.
Mataji, can I read the next slide?
Huh?
Can I read the next slide?
Sure, Avigyan, you can read the next slide. Okay, so now what happened? Imagine you were in Arjuna's position, that you were at war, and when you see, okay, who do I have to fight? All of your family members, all of your relatives, all the people you're close to, all of your friends, everyone's on the other side, and now you have to fight them. So, if even you will go, no, cannot, right? Even if I win against them, I will not have anyone left. I will not have any family members, no friends left. This is a very, very difficult position for Arjuna, right? And everyone knows what compassion means, right? Compassion means kindness. So he's looking at all of his relatives, and see, Arjuna also knows he's a very good archer. So I don't think he has a question around, oh, what if I don't win? So a lot of the things that we'll study now, where Arjuna is saying, I don't want to fight, it's not out of cowardice. Even Prabhupada clarifies that. It's not because Arjuna is scared or afraid. It's out of compassion. It's because he has a soft heart. And every devotee of the Lord will have a soft heart, right? Every devotee of the Lord will be very merciful. Okay, so now Arjun is looking at all of his relatives who he has to fight, and he becomes extremely merciful. So far, okay, so this is the end of the third section, which was what? Krishna is Bhaktavatsala, right? So we've covered from verses 1 to 27. So verses 1 to 11 is preparation for war. So this is Sanjay, Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan, Dronacharya. Okay, verses 12 to which one? Who will tell me? 20. 12 to 20 is signs of Pandava's victory. Okay, verses 21 to 26 is Krishna's Bhaktavatsala, which is when he's drawing the chariot and Arjuna is looking at the armies. Okay, so we've covered the first 27 verses already of the first chapter. Now, how can you practically apply this in your life? Or what are the takeaways for you from the stuff we've learned so far? Practical application. Okay, two main practical applications. The first one is that we already know that the Pandavas are going to win because the Lord is on their side. So if you're a devotee who surrendered to the Lord, you can be fully sure of the Lord's protection. So the first takeaway is that someone who's surrendered to the Lord can be fully sure of his assured victory independent of the material odds. The Kauravas' army was so much larger than the Pandavas' army, right? So by all material calculations, they should have one Dronacharya who's taught everyone. Bhishma Pitama, who's the greatest warrior, is on their side. But still, all the signs were pointing towards the Pandavas' victory. Why? Because of Krishna. So if you're a devotee of the Lord, you can be entirely sure. If you surrender to the Lord, you can be entirely sure that Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, Vishwas Palana, that you can be fully sure that Krishna will protect me. In fact, this is one of the signs of one of the parts of surrender. Fully sure that Krishna will protect me. There's a very, I know I'm digressing. There's a very beautiful bhajan that Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj has written, where he compares himself to a cow in Vrindavan, where Krishna is a cowherd boy, right? So he's taking all these cows for grazing. So it's a beautiful bhajan where he's comparing himself to a cow in Vrindavan, where he's saying, I am going to graze nicely, I'm going to, drink water from the Yamuna, I'll do whatever because Krishna is taking care of me. It's a very beautiful bhajan because it's exemplifying how these cows are not worried about their safety, nothing, because they're like, Krishna is there, right? Krishna will take care of us. That's the mood we should also have, that Krishna is there, he'll protect us as long as we surrender to him. That's the first takeaway for us, that by material calculations, one would think that the Kauravas would win, but all the signs are pointing towards the Pandavas' victory. Okay, that's one. The second one is that see the relationship the Lord has with his devotee, that of an intimate servant. The Lord who is infallible, who's the supreme Lord, like he doesn't need to do anything, doesn't even need us for anything at all, has everything. And he's willing to do service for us. He's willing to do what we want him to do as long as we are surrendered to him. So he's introduced here as Arjuna's charioteer. He's not introduced here as, oh, this is the supreme Lord and everyone's scared of him and everyone will do what he wants. No, he's shared in Bhagavad Gita. He's introduced in Bhagavad Gita as someone who is serving his devotees. Okay, so these are the two important takeaways for us. Any questions before I move on to the next section?
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes, Shruta.
What does it clearly mean to surrender to the Lord?
What does it mean to surrender to the Lord?
Yeah, like clearly, like what does it really mean to surrender to the Lord?
That's a very good question. So to surrender to the Lord is to actually surrender to the spiritual master, because the spiritual master is a representation of the Supreme Lord. So it is to do as per what the spiritual master asks us to do. So as per Prabhupada, right? What does Prabhupada tell us? Prabhupada says you have to chant 16 rounds daily. You have to do. You have to attend Mangal Arti. You have to read my books regularly. You have to follow the 4 regulative principles regularly. And honestly, as long as we are doing these things, Prabhupada says it is my guarantee I will take you back to Krishna. Right? So he says, attend Mangal Aarti, chant 16 rounds. Okay, Suraj has a question, why only 16 rounds? That's an important question that is larger to cover. But 16 rounds because Prabhupada has given that to us. So whatever spiritual master says, we accept that as Krishna's order.
Minimum
Mataji.
16 rounds.
Minimum 16 rounds, yes.
Anything above is fine, but because we are so much conditioned, so we don't have time for this one. Prabhupada mercifully has given this reasonable amount of number, which is 16 rounds. Prior to that, it was his Prabhupada's Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura's standard is 64 rounds.
Yeah, so to surrender means to do. What does surrender mean? If I surrender to someone, I say, okay, I'll do as you say. I'll stop, I'll stop relying on my mind. I'll do as you say. So Krishna's order comes to the spiritual master. So it is doing as Prabhupada says. So following what Prabhupada is saying, which also means reading his books, which means regularly chanting, which means attending Mangalati, which means following the regulative principles, fasting on festivals, fasting on Ekadashis, all of these things, all the rules and regulations and the instructions that Prabhupada has given us. And how can we know what are those? By reading his books. So the most important thing, especially for all of you children, is to read his books, which is what we are doing right now. Okay? So what we're doing right now is working on that path to surrender to Krishna. And that's why when we come to the 18th chapter, that's when Krishna is actually telling Arjun, Sarv Dharman Paritajya. Actually, forget everything and just completely surrender unto me. Okay? All right, can I move to the next section?
How to surrender? Also, Krishna has given, and Prabhupada has also explained, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakta. There is a verse there. You can go and read through that as well. 2 places it's mentioned, right? 934, right?
Yes.
So it's basically always think of him, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakta, and become his devotees, offer obeisances and worship me. This all have to done with heartfully. To have not like mechanically you do, but you, because we are so much into Maya, we are not able to get that love or prema of, because we remember we have read this in the last to last week of the quiz, the gradual development of our bhakti, which is basically starts with Adav Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu, Sangotha, Bhajana Kriya. So how you start with start with the faith, and how you will be progressing. At the end, you will be getting the love of Krishna. But because we really cannot go directly there. It takes really a lot of efforts and millions of years also at times. You have to start all those things. But how to do that is what Nishita Mataji explained through your spiritual master. Whatever is instructions given to us, just follow that. Okay, Mataji, we can go to the next slide.
All right, so we go to the next section now. We've covered, so the first chapter can be divided into 2 broad sections. We've already covered the first section, which had 3 subparts. Okay, the reason I'm saying all this is so it's easy for you all to be able to remember these chapters and to remember exactly what happened when. Okay, so the next section. Okay, I remember I went through this in the beginning. So the first section was the preparation for war. What was the next section? Who remembers? When I went through this in the
Lamentation
beginning.
of Arjuna.
Very good, Bhavya. Yes. So the next section is not this, sorry. The next section is, yes. The next one now, what has happened? Arjuna was like, Krishna, can you please take my chariot in the middle? I want to see the armies. And what happened just at the end? He saw all of his relatives, friends, family members, everyone who's willing to fight. And then all of a sudden he becomes overwhelmed with compassion and he just sits down and he talks to Krishna. So now he's saying, okay, I don't want to fight. And he finds 5 reasons not to fight. In first chapter, there's 4 reasons. Okay, so we are going to cover 4 reasons. So now Arjuna is giving reasons to Krishna as to why I don't want to fight. Okay, so we'll go through them one by one. First reason is compassion. Avigyan, you wanted to read this slide?
Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandava is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O killer, O Krishna, killer of the Kesi devil.
Wonderful. Thank you, Avigyan. So what's happening now? All of these symptoms, right, that Arjun is saying that, my body is trembling, my hair is standing. Okay, you should all remember the name of Arjuna's bow, by the way, Gandiva. Okay, important. Again, I'm gonna ask it next week, so I'm telling you a question already. Remember, Gandiva. So his palms are getting sweaty, right? His bow is slipping. His skin is burning. His body is quivering, shaking. His mouth is drying up, and his mind is reeling. What are all of these symptoms for? These are all
Mataji,
body. Yes.
compassion.
These are actually all because of compassion. These are all bodily symptoms of fear, material fear, right? So he's he's not being a coward. So he's not afraid of fighting, but because of that compassion, he's like, I don't want to fight. So because of that fear of excessive, see, at the end of the day, all of this is coming from attachment, right? He's attached to the people on the other side because they're related to him, and that's why he's compassionate. So because of that, he's all of these symptoms are arising of material fear, where he's like, oh, my mouth is drying, my palms are sweaty, I cannot think properly, I'm getting goosebumps, my body is shaking. So I just cannot, I'm losing myself, I cannot keep myself composed because I can't possibly comprehend killing all of these relatives who are so close to me. Okay. And it's very important to remember that Arjun's symptoms or his wanting not to fight is not out of cowardice, not out of fear, but out of compassion because of his soft-heartedness. So he's not saying I don't want to fight with the Kauravas because what if they kill me? No, he's saying I don't want to fight the Kauravas because they're my relatives. I cannot kill them. Okay? All right. Next reason. So the first reason is compassion. Next reason, no enjoyment. Someone can read this?
Can I read it?
Mataji,
Someone who hasn't already read.
Mataji, can I read?
Shruta, yes, you can read. Shruta hasn't already read, I think.
I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. O Govinda, of what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-laws, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra?
Yes. So see, this is a very important, very logical point also, right? Where he's saying, okay, like we are all fighting because the Kauravas did not let us have our kingdom. But tomorrow, even if I get that kingdom, but I don't have any family members left, then what's the point of having this kingdom? If you give me all the money in the world, but I don't have any friends or family members, no one who I love or no one who loves me, then what am I going to do with all that money? I don't know, a lot of you might have read. Remember when we are kids, we read this story about King Midas, where he wants that any whatever he touches becomes gold, and then he by mistake he touches his own daughter. Right? So now he's got a lot of gold, but he has no family members left. Is that a happy position? Not at all. So Arjuna's point is very logical here, where he's saying, even if I win over them, I kill them. What is the point of this kingdom? That's why he says, I don't want to kill them even for three worlds. I'm not prepared to fight with them. Okay, so this is the second reason. So the first reason is compassion. They are my family members. Second reason, no enjoyment. Even if I get this kingdom, who am I going to enjoy it with? So this is important because what is he optimizing for here? His enjoyment, right? He's figuring out how is it he can satisfy his senses. Okay, and we'll come to this in a bit as to why this is important. Reason three. Who can read this? Yogesh, yes. Yogesh, you're on mute. You are still on mute, Yogesh. Cannot hear you. Yes, can hear
Sin
you now.
will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, the husband of goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? O Janardana, although they men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends. Why should we, who can see the crime in destroying your family, engage in these acts of sin?
Hmm. So he's saying that, at the end of the day, killing your family, very good, Yogesh, thank you. He's saying that at the end of the day, killing your family is sinful, right? So they want to fight, they don't see the sin in it. But if we also fight, what will be the difference between them and us? Right? So, a lot of times when you have a fight with someone, or you say, Mama, like, she did X or she did Y, and mommy would be like, but if you do the same thing, then what is the difference between you and her? That's what Arjun is saying. Yeah, sure, they want to fight because they don't understand what is right or not, but we are smarter than them, right? We are more pious than them. So, how can we kill our family members? Because we'll only have to incur the sins because of that. So, in this case, this is very so it's very interesting because at one point you might think that actually Arjun is very right, that he's saying, why, how can I kill my family members? But Prabhupada also helped us understand that the reason this is not right, multiple reasons this is not right, but also because Arjun is a Kshatriya at the end of the day. So his duty is to fight. And a Kshatriya needs a kingdom to be able to do his duty. So Arjun at some point says, I can just go to a forest, it's okay. But no, that's not his duty. That's not what he should be doing as per the Varnashram system. Right? The Varnashram system tells us what the duty of different classes of men is. Whether you're a Brahman, a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. So Arjun is a Kshatriya, he needs a kingdom to rule. So he's forgetting his actual duty here. The other thing that also Prabhupada tells us, which is very important, is this. Prabhupada tells us in the purport that as per the Artha Shastra, which is the law for politics and sociology, killing 6 kinds of people, you do not incur any sin. Right? So in this case, Arjun is saying, oh, what if I kill them? I don't want to incur sin. But Prabhupada tells us that as per the Artha Shastra, in these 6 situations, 6 kinds of aggressors, you do not incur any sin. And what are those 6 aggressors? Someone who gives you a poison, someone who sets your house on fire, someone who attacks you with deadly weapons, someone who plunders riches, someone who takes away your wealth, someone who occupies your land, or someone who kidnaps your wife. Which ones of these did the Kauravas do?
Everything.
All of them, exactly. The Kauravas did all of them. So they had every reason to be like,
All.
they are an aggressor. Yes, all of them. So they're an aggressor, in which case I should fight them. So as per the Arthashastra, Arjun would not incur any fight. But the reason, and Arjun is smart, so it's not like he did not know this. The reason Arjun still says it is because in this case, the aggressors are his family members. Right? So he's saying this will go against the Dharma Shastra, which says you cannot kill your family members. Alright, so that's why Arjun is saying. So what was the third reason? Third reason for him to not fight? Fear of sinful.
Fear of
Yes,
sinful
fear of
reaction.
sinful reactions. Yes, fear of sinful reactions. Very good, Manas. All right, the 3 reasons he's given so far. He's saying, one, they're my family members. How can I kill them? Compassionate, all these bodily symptoms. Second one, he says, even if I win, will not have a kingdom to enjoy with. Like, right, what's the point? No enjoyment. Third, he says, I don't want to incur sin by killing my family members. Okay, everyone with me? 3 reasons he's given so far. Now, the fourth reason. I think Mitra, Shivansh, you read already. Mitra, can you read?
With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the woman of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vishnu, comes unwanted progeny and increase of unwanted pollution, population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt family fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children. All kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by discipling succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell.
Yes. So this is okay. There's so much to cover in this slide, and I also know this is a little bit of a difficult slide to read because it has a bunch of difficult words. But very good job, Mitra. Very nice. So a few important difficult words. Let me clarify what they mean. I'll go through line by line. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished. Vanquished means finished, right? So if there's no dynasty, why does family tradition mean? Things we've been doing generation to generation, right? So Arjun is saying, if you destroy everyone in the family, including our grandfathers, fathers, then the culture that our family has, the traditions that we follow, the rituals we follow, they'll be finished because there'll be no one to tell the next generation what to do. And thus the rest of the family will become involved in irreligion. Well, if there's who did all of us learn the rituals from? From our seniors, from our mothers, our fathers, right? From people who are more senior than us. If there's no senior to tell us about the rituals or what we should be doing, then we'll do whatever we want to do. We'll just gratify our senses, which is how irreligion is born. So he says if there's no family seniors left, it will lead to irreligion. If there's irreligion, the women in the family, they might get distracted. They will not be able to give birth to children who are pious, right? So there'll be a lot of people who are not pious, who are irreligious. There'll be a lot of irreligious children in existence. Oh Krishna, the women of the family will become polluted, and from that, from the degradation. Degradation means to become bad, right? So degradation of womanhood or descendant of Vrishni comes unwanted progeny. Progeny means children. Okay, for those of you who don't know, progeny means children, comes unwanted progeny. An increase in that population will call hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. So, okay, so this is important, right? Where he's saying if you kill all the seniors, there'll be no one left to tell them what culture is, what religion is, what tradition to follow. So, because of that, there'll be a lot of irreligious people in the world, there'll be a lot of irreligious children in the world. And when there's irreligious people, when there's irreligious children, then it is hell both for those people and for us because we were the ones who killed the seniors. Right? So we are also incurring that sin. And he says the other thing he says is that there's this a lot of you might know there's this ritual of Pindadan that we do during Shraddh, right? Which is what do? We offer Vishnu Prasadam to the ancestors, to our Pittars, right? To our ancestors who have passed away. And the significance is that even if they haven't been liberated, by honoring this Krishna Prasadam or Vishnu Prasadam, they have the right to get rid of all of their sinful reactions and hopefully go back to Krishna. So he says that and this is something that younger children or the current generation will do for the ancestors of the family, and this is something that is passed generation to generation. So he's saying if there's a lot of irreligious children, there's no one who will be doing this for the ancestors, right? So if there's no one is doing it for the ancestors, then we are destroying the family tradition completely. We're leading to a lot of irreligiousness, and there's no welfare projects whatsoever. And because people are not pious, the people are just gratifying their senses, it will lead to a lot of corruption in the world. If you look at what's happening in the world right now, that's exactly what's happening, right? People don't have an understanding of culture, family tradition, of religion, of piety, and all they're doing is gratifying their senses like animals. So this is exactly what's happening in the world right now. Okay, so this is the fourth reason Arjun gives, which he says it will lead to a destruction of family traditions. So, if there is, so this is a visual to explain this. If there is fighting, the seniors die, the family tradition is lost, which is passed from the parents to the children. There's a lot of irreligion now because no one is there to teach you culture or religion. Because of the irreligion, the women will become polluted and they will give birth to children who are irreligious as well. See, even a lot of us, actually all of us, even if we've come in bhakti one way or the other, some way or the other, it's because of our mothers. It's because of the piety of our mothers and it's because of our mothers. Right? I'm seeing a lot of nods. So that's what Arjun is saying. He's saying, well, if the mothers are not religious, then the children will also not be religious. Right? Which is why we should not kill them, because otherwise we'll get rid of the family tradition. So this is the fourth reason Arjun gives to Krishna to not fight. All right. A few of you messaged me to be like, Mataji, can I read? But this is the last slide actually. So I'll let Dhanush read. Dhanush?
Else who,
Yes.
who, how strange
Strange.
that we are praying to commit really sinful acts driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsman. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were killed
Unarmed, yes.
unarmed and restoring on the battlefield.
Very
Sanjay
good.
said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside this his bone of the arrows and sat down on the chariot. This is his mind overwhelmed with grief.
Very good, Dhanush. Very, very good. Right? So now Arjun is saying, okay, four reasons I've given you already. Come on, like what a bad thing we are going to do here. Driven by just because we want to enjoy a kingdom, we're going to kill our own family members. Come on. I am not going to engage in this fight. It's if they want to, I'm going to give up my bow and arrow. If they want to kill me, they can do it. I have no interest in fighting. Right? So he's given four reasons to Krishna, where he says because of compassion, because of no enjoyment, fear of sinful reactions, and loss of family tradition. He's saying, okay, no, what are we going to do? Now I'm not fighting. Here's my bow and arrow. I'm not going to fight. So this is, and who is relaying this to Dhritarashtra? Sanjay, right? So we are hearing Sanjay's version of what Sanjay is seeing on the battlefield. So now Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra. So Arjun said all of this, and after this he cast aside his bow and arrow, and he was just overwhelmed with grief. So this is our first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We've just covered 46 verses. Okay, so now a few quick things I want to cover. Quick revision. Yes.
Are there 5 reasons why Arjun wanted to fight or 4?
So there's actually 5 reasons. The 5th reason comes in the second chapter. So in the first chapter, there's 4 reasons.
Okay.
So in this chapter, 4 arguments that Arjun's giving, right? Compassion, verses 28 to 30. Loss of, and again, by the way, it's completely fine if you don't remember which verses it is. Okay, I don't expect you all to learn which verses it is. If you learn, great. But if you don't learn, that's completely fine.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, isn't the last one supposed to be 1.39?
Yes, 1.39. So even if you don't remember which specific verses it is fine. I just want you to remember the flow and obviously the significance more than anything else. Okay, you should, especially with this, a lot of you, this is the first time you're studying Bhagavad Gita. Remember the flow. At a high level, you should understand what happened when. 4 reasons: compassion, loss of enjoyment, fear of sinful reaction, destruction of family traditions. Okay, and this was the second section of the first chapter. The first section is preparation for war. The second section is
5 reasons of Arjuna.
that why he doesn't want to fight.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So now let's look at the practical application of this section. And I know in some places it says 5 arguments because the 5th argument comes in the 2nd chapter. Okay, so the first thing that we understand here is that identification with body. See, what is wrong with these reasons? If you think logically, Arjun is also right. He's saying, I don't want to kill my family members. I don't want to incur sinful reactions, or who am I going to enjoy with? But through all of this, one, he's forgetting both his duty as a Kshatriya, and he's also forgetting that his job is not to figure out how he can enjoy his senses. His job is to figure out what is it that Krishna wants. Right? What is the difference between what does devotional service teach us? And devotional service doesn't say, oh, eat a lot of prasadam because it's tasty. Devotional service says honor prasadam. Why? Because it's Krishna's remnant. Right? So it's not about us gratifying our senses. It's about us gratifying Krishna's senses. So when Krishna's name is Govinda, right? What does Govinda mean?
The one who can.
One who satisfies our senses.
Yes, one who gives pleasure to the cows and the senses. Right? So it doesn't mean Krishna's job is to satisfy my senses. Okay? It means my job is to satisfy Krishna's senses, because if his senses are satisfied, my senses will automatically be satisfied. That is what the word Govinda means. So you should not be like, Krishna, you are Govinda. How come you're not satisfying my senses? Right? That is not what the significance of Govinda is. Significance of Govinda is if you satisfy his senses, he is Govinda. So just by that, you will be completely satisfied. Okay, so see, that is what Arjun is forgetting here. He's not thinking about what does Krishna want, how can I satisfy his senses. He's saying, how will my senses be satisfied if I kill all my family members? That is the first lesson for us. The fact that if we attach too much to the body, and all of this is from bodily attachment, right? Because he's seeing his family members. Eternally, we are all related to Krishna. We are all his family members. We are all each other's family members eternally. But why is he looking at Dronacharya, Bhishma, the Kauravas? Because they're related to this temporary body. Okay, so the identification with temporary body can often make us forget our duty and make us forget that at the end of the day we have to do as per Krishna's will. And the second one is that it is also important to figure out this cause and effect of the fact that Arjuna is so confused here. Why? Because he's thinking about his own self-interest at all times. So if you focus too much on your own self-interest, it will lead to remember all of those symptoms that we saw with Arjuna's body. What were some of those symptoms?
Trembling, goosebumps, fear,
His body
Sweating,
was he was
sweating.
sweating.
Yeah.
mouth was
His
drying.
hand was sweaty and
Yeah, mouth was drying,
His
mind
skin
was
was
reeling,
burning. Skin was burning.
skin was
goosebumps.
burning. Right? So all of this, we talked about how he was losing his composure. He was getting very scared. He was fearful. So all of that was because of self-interest. So here we learn that the effect of such self-interest or identification with the body is fear, indecision, loss of composure, and confusion of moral codes. Okay? All right. So again, revision of what all we covered. The first chapter can be broken down into 2 subsections. The introduction, which is like the setting of the war, and second, the Arjun's reasons not to fight. In the first section, we talked about preparation of war, Sanjay, Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya, Duryodhan. We talked about the signs of Pandava's victory, and we talked about Krishna as Bhaktavatsala, right? And then in the second section, we talked about 4 reasons why Arjun does not want to fight. Compassion, loss of enjoyment, loss of family tradition, and sinful reactions. See, I'm revising myself also as I'm telling all of you. Okay? So this is all we've covered. Now you've covered out of 18, you're done with the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Congratulations to all of you. Out of 700, you're done with 46 verses. Okay? Now I've got a little fun quiz for all of you. Before we go into Q&A, we're doing really well on time, which I'm very proud of. So these are, okay, so it's so far in the 46 verses, there's a lot of names that are used of Krishna, of Arjun, and also of Bhima. So I want to do something with you all. All of you have to try spotting different names here and have to tell me the meaning. So you have to tell me 2 things. One, you have to tell me whose name is it? Is it Krishna, Arjun, or Bhim? And you have to tell me the meaning of that word also. Okay? Easiest. Yes? Wait. Easiest is Krishna.
Mataji, I found one.
Okay, good. All of you, if you find one, raise your hand. No shouting, no shouting.
Mataji, I found one. It is
Good, raise your hand.
Partha.
I do not want to hear right now. Wait. I'm going to give you choices. I'm going to give you chances. Wait. Okay, so the first one is obviously Krishna. Krishna means? Who can tell me what Krishna means?
All attractive.
Very good. Yes, Krishna means all attractive. Okay, now you have to find names and you have to tell me whose name is it and what does it mean. So Sanvi, wait, Sanvi already gave the answer. One, Sanvi said Parthasarathy. What does Parthasarathy mean, Sanvi?
Arjuna's chariot is.
Yes, very good.
Next year, right?
Next, yes, you can.
Rishikesh.
What does it mean?
It means like
Whose name is it and what does it mean?
it's name of Krishna and it means Rishikesh means like it means Mataji, I don't know really, but yeah.
That's okay. Who can tell me what Rishikesh means?
Can I?
Yes, Avigna?
Rishikesh means the place where the Lord resides.
So Rishikesh actually means master of the senses. Okay, Rishikesh, Krishna's. I mean, we're talking about this being the Lord's name itself, right? So Rishikesh, Lord is the master of our senses. And the reason, so this is important to understand. What does master of senses mean? Mataji, can you please mute? Okay. The reason this is important is because, you know, when you're talking about if you surrender to Krishna, then he is the one who will guide your senses. Okay, if you let him, if you listen to the spiritual master, then this Krishna is the master of your senses, which means he's the one who's guiding your senses at all times. Okay, so we've covered Krishna, Parthasarathi, Rishikesha. What else? Manas.
Achyuta, Krishna's
Achyuta, what does
name.
it mean? Very good. What does it mean?
Infallible.
Very good. Yes, Priyangi.
Devaki.
Yes, what does it mean? Very good. What else?
Mataji, Vasudev.
Vasudev. What does it mean?
The son of Vasudev.
Son of Vasudev. Okay,
Mataji,
remember Vasudev.
Yashoda Nandana.
Yashoda Nandana.
Yashoda
Very good.
Nandana.
Very good. Yes, Prachikta.
Mataji, it's Partha, which is Arjuna's name. So Krishna addressed him as Partha because he is the son of Pritha, who was
Wonderful.
Vasudev's sister, I guess.
Very good. Very, very good, Prachikta. Great job.
Mataji, Govinda.
Okay, I'm hearing some background. Relax. Okay, both of you are getting very excited. Both of you relax. I want to give other kids a chance also.
Mataji, Govinda. Govinda.
Govinda, yes. What does it mean, Samart?
Master of cows.
Yeah, one who gives pleasure to the cows or the senses.
Mataji, can I answer?
Who am I seeing? 1 second, Shruta. I'll give you a chance. Chetna?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, Dhananjaya, which is the name of Arjuna. So it means that one who is the possessor of wealth.
Yes. And do you know the significance of why he's called Dhananjaya?
Mataji, I know.
Okay, yes, Shivansh, tell.
Because like whenever he like went to war, like he will always get dhan, that means money, or like the king will surrender or he will kill the king and like the money will come.
Yes, especially when Yudhishthira had to do a yagya, right? So he was the one who would go and get all the wealth. Okay, Yuvraj. Quickly. We're running a long time. Yuvraj.
Mataji, I was going to say Yashoda Nandana.
Okay. Mitra.
Yashoda Nandana.
Okay, you have to tell words that haven't already been covered now. Shruta.
Son of Mother Yashoda.
Good, Mitra. See if you can find a word that's not already covered. Shruta.
Mataji, I found Gudakesha. Gudakesha is the name of Arjuna and it means one who has overcome sleep and the mode of ignorance.
Very good. That's a difficult one. Very good job, Shruta. Very nice. Yogesh.
Mataji, Vrikodara, the name of Bhima.
What does it mean?
He eats voraciously and kills the demons.
Very good job. Yes, Bhim just had one name in here, which was Vrikodara, which means he eats a lot. Very good job, Yogesh.
Mataji, Janardana.
Yes. What does it mean?
I think it means Bhima killing the demon.
No, okay. Whose name is Janardana?
Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna, Janardana means one who maintains everyone, maintains all the living entities.
Krishna.
Okay, Jana Ardhana, maintainer of all the Janas, maintainer of all living entities. Okay,
Mataji
Avigna.
Keshava.
Very good, Suraj. Keshava, what does it mean?
Krishna killing Keshi monster.
Hari bol. Very good. You're all doing a very good job. Avigna.
Madhusudanam is a Krishna
Nice.
and it means the one who slayed the demon Madhu.
Very nice. How about your brother who's getting very excited on the side? Yes, Avigyan.
Dhananjaya. It's
Okay,
Arjuna's.
Dhananjay is already covered. Dhananjay already covered. Any other you tell me if you can find.
Mataji,
Yes.
Gudakesha,
I
Gudakesha.
have
Done.
a
Gudakesha done.
question.
Okay,
Mataji, I have a
First
question.
we'll finish this exercise, then I'll come to your question, Shruta. Okay?
Madhava.
Madhava, what does Madhava mean? Who can tell me what does Madhava mean?
Mataji, it's name of Krishna.
Yes, but what does it mean?
Radharani.
Mataji, can I tell?
Yes, Shruta.
It means the husband of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, because Lakshmi's name, one of the Ma Lakshmi's name is Ma, and he is the husband of her, so Madhava.
Very good. Very, very good job, Shruta. Very nice. Nicely explained.
Keshava is done.
Keshava done already. Yes. Any others that we haven't done?
Mataji, I can say
Yes.
Devaki Nandana.
Devaki Nandan. Good. We already did Devaki Nandan. What else?
Gopala.
Son of
Okay. See, this is how. Who said Gopala? Who said Gopala?
That I said.
Yeah, Gopala is not here, Samarth. If not in this word cloud.
Only is there in the picture.
Mataji Madhusundana.
Madhusudana we've done already. I think we've covered everything.
There is one Krishna name in chapter 1, which is 1.40. Can somebody say what is the name of Krishna in that? 1.40. Quick.
Mataji.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Virnasi?
Huh?
Virnasi.
What's that?
Mataji, Virnasi. I don't know how to pronounce
Vrishni.
it.
Are you saying Vrishni, is it?
Yes.
Varshaneya.
Mataji, is it Varshaneya?
Varshaneya.
Varshaneya.
Yes. It's a descendant of
descendant of
Vrishni, the
Vrishni.
Yadu dynasty.
Very nice. Nice. That's not in the word cloud here. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for adding that. Very nice. All right. This was a fun exercise. And now actually we come to the Q&A part. So if you all have, we have 5 minutes, and if you all have any questions, now is a good time to ask.
Mataji, can I ask my question?
Yes, Shruta.
So somewhere I had read that the meaning of Keshava, there are two meanings. One is that one who killed the demon Keshi, and the next one is one who has very beautiful hair. Is it a correct translation?
Yes. I've also seen both of those meanings, and that's why it often depends on the context. And that's why, we often rely on Prabhupada's explanation of the name also. So if you look at how Prabhupada has explained it in the first chapter, Arjuna is referring to him as the slayer of Keshi demon. Because the significance is that just like you slayed the demon Keshi, you should slay this, this doubt that's arising in my mind. So yes, you're absolutely right. There are multiple meanings, and that's true for Sanskrit language in general. That's why the context matters a lot, and that's why we pay attention to how is it that Prabhupada translates it. That's why sometimes the same word can mean very different things in different context, and that's why we rely on Prabhupada to understand it.
And
Mataji,
in
I
the
have
every
thank you.
chapter, when you read the name of the Krishna when it is called upon, right? You need, Prabhupada's purport will give a detailed, good explanation of why that name was called that time. So you have to, it's not just understanding the verse and translation only. Read purport of from Srila Prabhupada. It will really give you the very good meaning for understanding. Someone else is asking question. Who's that?
Mataji, me.
Yes, go ahead.
Mataji, so actually, right, Mataji, is it like Madhusudana has three meanings, right, Mataji? Three meanings. The one meaning is that he's a husband of Lakshmi. So second meaning is that he's like Madhu means bee, and also very sweet. And the third meaning is that he's scared of Madhu demon. Is it correct, Mataji?
First one I haven't heard. Second and third I've heard.
First one is for Madhava, right? That's
Yeah.
why his husband of Lakshmi is Madhava.
Oh.
Second and third, yes, correct.
Okay, Prachika, you have a question?
Yes, Mataji. Actually, I was asking that Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya.
Yes, Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya.
Mataji, can you please explain the reason actually?
Yeah, so when Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to do a yagya, right? The Rajasuya yagya, the way you usually do it is one, it's a very expensive yagya also, but you have to conquer a lot of kingdoms around you. So he sent Arjuna to do that. So as Shivansh was explaining to us, Arjuna would go to different kings and they would even either surrender to him. And when a king surrenders his kingdom, they're surrendering all the wealth also with it, right? Or he would fight them, and then obviously he was a very great military fighter, so they would have to surrender to him anyway. So he would Dhananjaya means one who gathers the wealth. So he was able to gather all this wealth and bring all of this to Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Thank you, Mataji. Actually, Mataji, I was asking that could it be referred to as this that since Krishna was Arjuna's charioteer, so goddess of fortune was also on his side. So like this, did he like conquer wealth or something like Dhananjaya that could be referred
The
to?
reason he could conquer wealth or the kingdoms is because he was a devotee of the Lord. So that is true. But the way the spiritual master and acharyas explain it to us is the significance of how he could amass this wealth in context of Yudhishthira Maharaj's yagya.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for asking, Pachikta. Very nice. So happy you joined the class. Yes, Avigna, you have a question?
No, Mataji.
Okay, your hand is raised. Anyone else has a question? I think Vishnupriya Mataji sent something in the chat also. Dhananjaya, because Battle of Kurukshetra, there was no money. So by the order of Maharishri, he brought from a Himalayan to get quantity of gold so he could use them for the yagyas.
The same that what you mentioned, and just send it message.
Samarth and Priyangi, do either of you have a question?
Yesterday, right, when Prabhu was taking the class, Prabhu told one thing that when there was in the battlefield, Karna is only said that Karna can only defeat Arjuna. But then Karna went to defeat the four Pandavas and he told the Yudhishthira Maharaj that you go back to your camp. You're too weak here. You don't have any business. Get lost. And then he go back to the camp. Arjuna got a bit concerned. He went behind him. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj said, why you came here? Because of you only the whole fight is happening. You are not qualified to become born from the mother's womb also. You're not supposed to be my brother also. Your Gandiva is useless. Then Arjuna will remove his sword and he'll tell, whoever offend my Gandiva, they have to be killed. Then he wanted to kill Yudhishthira. Then Krishna said, what type of dharma are you doing? You don't know what vow to take also. And then he'll tell how to kill your brother. Don't kill him, just offend him. Offend him means you insult him. It's as good as killing for a Kshatriya. He insulted him, say don't know anything, you're not even riches. After that, again he'll remove his sword and he'll say, whoever offends my brother, I have to kill them. So he'll kill himself. Then Krishna will hit his head and say, you don't even know anything. You don't know what vow. You're just simply making vows. Now you have to praise yourself. It's as good as killing. When he praised himself, like, I have the Gandiva. I have been the one who killed all the Kauravas. I am the strongest. And after that, he'll say now that he's dead, he's like,
Go for a fight again.
and he'll bow down to Yudhishthira and said, I'm sorry, and then he got rid of fight. That's when
This was
yesterday.
told by yesterday's Subala Prabhu's class. He was telling this story, and you have replicated exactly the same, almost the same words. Samarth, very good. I think slightly deviating, but still okay. You have repeated the story, and many of you might not. Even I have not heard exactly this version, but very nice to know. Thank you, Samarth. But anything question related to this topic you have, just let us know. Otherwise, just keep pondering upon what would be the next chapter thing. And for the next chapter, I have a couple of questions that you can think about it, right? Why the Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya are all like big warriors, right? And when compared to that, Arjuna is a small. Parikshit Maharaj once compared his grandfather, who is Arjuna, that my grandfather is a small fish when compared to Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya, who are big Timingalas, like a big whales. They can easily swallow my grandfather Arjuna, but why? How come they win this battle? Think about this. How can Arjuna can win the battle when Bhishma and Drona is there stronger? But second question is also why Bhishma and Dronacharya in Duryodhana's side, even though they know that Pandavas are right? Why? Right? These two things. And also, Arjuna is a great warrior, fighter. He's a friend of Krishna. He has conquered the ignorance, Guda Kesa, right? I think Shruta has explained it very nicely. He's conquered the sleep and ignorance, especially the ignorance, darkness. He knows everything. Then why he is again put to this, all this putting these questions, which is very much subject to our material stuff. Why is having this kind of confusion, knowing that Krishna is there and he's conquered the ignorance, he must be knowing everything. Still, why is questioning? So these are the three questions. We don't have time to answer. Think about it. Next week when we come back, first a few minutes, we'll ask these questions. Okay?
Mataji, I just have a question.
Yes, Shruta.
So sorry. In the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 1, the second verse, where Sanjaya says, Sanjaya Uvacha, Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudam Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. Why does Sanjaya address Duryodhana as Raja?
That's a good question. Who can answer this?
Because he wants
Sorry?
Dhritarashtra to calm down and think that the Kauravas will win.
Who else can tell me?
Mataji, what was the question?
Why Sanjay? Go ahead, Mataji.
Go ahead, Mataji. Why Sanjaya is addressing Duryodhana as king?
Mataji, because Duryodhana was the controller of the army. He was, because of him, the Kauravas were going to fight.
Controller doesn't mean king.
That means maybe because he's the future king, because
How certain it is he is a future king?
I don't know.
Anyone want to try? Basically, Dhritarashtra is shaken, right? Although he knows that he wanted. See, there is a really foolish question to ask. There are two parties, and then ready to fight. And Dhritarashtra is asking what my sons and Pandu's are doing. Pandu's sons are doing, and they are going to fight. Of course, why Dhritarashtra is asking this question? Definitely, he knows the Kurukshetra value of Kurukshetra and all these 5 victory points Mataji covered, and he is also shaken to give the confidence in him, because Sanjay is a secretary of Dhritarashtra. He should be giving confidence to Dhritarashtra. Our dynasty is going to, our troop is going to win, and we are going to become take over keep the kingdom, and Duryodhana is going to become the king. So he's just giving the confidence to Dhritarashtra. Anything to add, Mataji?
No, I think that's it, Mataji. Yeah, Shruta, does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji, that answers my question. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Mataji, do we need to take a class photo or not really? Because we already have a live stream video.
I have taken.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. It was so wonderful to be in class today with all of you. I feel like I learned so much. So thank you so much. It's so nice to see all of your faces. We've got such a good attendance, and so many of you have been so engaged. Your cameras are on. You're actively participating. As teachers, we try to put in effort, and we think about how is it we can make the class as engaging and interesting for you all. So there's nothing more rewarding for us than all of you being present and all of you engaging and actively answering and questioning. So thank you so much to all of you. Mataji, anything you want to add?
I also would like to see those kids who are not talking. Please do talk next week. It's okay. Anything under the sky you can ask. As Mataji last week itself mentioned, there is no question called wrong question. We are trying to learn. So any question you ask, we may or may not know the answer, but definitely if we know, we'll immediately address it. If we do not know, we'll get back to you on that one. We all learn together. We wanted to learn. And then follow the instructions of Prabhupada and do the devotional service as Krishna is teaching us in this Bhagavad Gita. Okay, that's all, Mataji. we'll end this session. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. See you all next week.
Hare
Hare
Thanks,
Krishna.
folks.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.